bring out the words organized CRM, and it's like, boom, all, oh, that takes a lot. Well, as long as your CRM is being managed, organized, it's automated, and you can monitor, this thing can be very simple, especially if you have the right tools and support in place. What does that mean? One thing that all CRMs do have, and maybe they call it something different, depending on if you're using Lofty, they call it your pipeline. If you're using Follow Up Boss, they call it, your stages. Sierra Interactive, it's their status. Call it what you want. It's the same stuff. It's how you're tracking what your pipeline is until a transaction for the life cycle of a lead, right? And one big problem that I see constantly, and I've always seen this, in my years of working in the real estate industry, is that one of two or both of these things. It's one, you're using your pipeline ineffectively by not having definitive stages that track the transaction, meaning you're creating stages or pipeline that really should be something else, tags or labels, because you're trying to keep people in certain categories, and that's not tracking the actual transaction. So some people have a stage in their pipeline, to indicate, oh, this is a bad number. Well, that's not really a stage. That's a category or a label, and we'll talk about that in a little bit. Your stages mean from start to finish, from the moment that you have a person's contact info until they are a closed transaction. That's your pipeline. Anything outside of that is more of a label or a list, and we'll get into that in a second. Your stages should go forward, right? From the farthest ever to a closed until closed. And that, what's more important, the second thing is that they're not dynamic. They're not constantly moving. People will put somebody in a state, even if you have all the right stages that you're supposed to have. You forget about people. You're not moving them. And there should be some responsibility on the agent of moving, but you can also incorporate automation that ensures that if certain actions or certain triggers are not happening, these people are moving. So an example of that is when a new lead comes in. It's a new lead. You don't know them from Sally Sue. It's brand new information, no matter where you got it from. Again, you should be contacting that person as soon as possible, or even if it's a new lead and then it's an old lead and now you're contacting them. The goal is that you're reaching out to this person and you're trying to have a conversation with them, whether that's you or an ISA. Again, if it's you, that is more work for you to do because that's virtually impossible. So again, if you have a team like NurtureWorq or some kind of assistant or ISA, essentially they should be that one trying to get them. But the idea is that you're trying to contact this person until you can have a valuable conversation, and that valuable conversation is where you're going to identify, okay, now what stage or pipeline should they be in? When are they going to transact? And that's the idea of your stages. When are they going to transact? Is it 2 years from now? Is it 1 year from now? Is it 6 months? Is it 30 days? Is it tomorrow? Right? And once you can find that out and they've verbally indicated that, then they should be moved into the appropriate pipeline. Whether that be, okay, now they're ready now, are they long-term, is it hot? That's how you're going to be able to know these are the people. And essentially, as an agent, the only people you should be focused on is people within 6 months or less, like as far as what your daily activities need to be. Because the people outside of that should be, nurtured either on a drip campaign or really drip campaigns and phone calls and, whatever else. But those are longer term nurtures. On a day-to-day basis, you should be laser focused on the people that were indicated 6 months or less, and even more so on the people that were 3 months or less.